Hello, well today we're doing a short video about comparing the Nissan Navara NP300, which is the current Nissan Navara, to the Nissan Navara D40, which is the old Tonka toy Navara, the one that I have as my personal car. My Navara D40 was taken away for the chassis work, so I've been loaned this NP300, and then for one reason and another I've actually managed to keep hold of this car for about 6 weeks. In that time I have towed 2 caravans, a total of about 1,500 miles. So this little video is going to be a comparison of the D40 and the NP300, so if you're thinking of upgrading your D40, and also a little bit in depth about towing. Now, there's a great review already about all the nuts and bolts, and that was done by Here We Tow. Karina and Jules reviewed the NP300 not so long ago, so I'll leave a link to that review in the description below. But to add to that, and to add a fresh angle, some of you have been asking for this, so here we go. To start off, trim levels. My Navara, the D40, is a 2013, and it's one of the outgoing models. Therefore, as many of you will know, when they're discontinuing a model, they just add all the toys on at the end. They just chuck everything on, so it's quite well spec'd, my D40. This NP300, I don't know what it is. Number one, this is a 2017 model, so it's not the current model. And also, I'm not sure what spec it is because I didn't get much paperwork with this car. It's fairly well spec'd. It's got sat-nav, reversing camera, heated seats, electric adjust on the driver's seat. So I think it's a pretty good spec. It's probably a Tecna or an N-Connect, but I'm not sure. It's a well-spec'd car, but it's 2 years old. So bear that in mind as we go through. Now then, first impressions. When I first got this car and it was delivered, I was massively underwhelmed. I was really not impressed, and the reason is this car, as far as practicality goes, is inferior to the D40 for 3 main reasons. Number one, and this was the big reason I didn't buy an NP300 back in the day, is that the D40, or my D40, has securing rails in the floor of the load bed. I use those all the time for the sliding platform for my motorcycle, and they're really useful. The NP300 does not have those. It only has, on the higher specs, the securing rails at the side. Number two, my D40 has a split rear seat. That is so useful when usually, as you can see, I've got a ton of rubbish behind me, but if I need, say for example, to put a small seat down for a passenger or for Dougal, I can do that without having to clear all the rubbish from the back of the car. This Navara, it's got a one-piece rear seat, and if you want to put the seat down for one passenger, you've got to clear all the rubbish out the back of the car. I've looked on the website, I've looked at the brochure. It is not clear for the 2019-2020 models whether or not the rear seat is split or one piece, and if it does change, at which level. That is a brochure fail, because I want to know that, and if I'm on a Scottish island, 2 days, £200, 2 ferries and a hotel ride away from my nearest Nissan dealer, I want to find that kind of information out from the brochure. It does not state. This car, one-piece rear seat, fail. Finally, the third thing I didn't like about the practicality is that on my D40, it came with roof bars between the roof rails. That means I can throw my kite surfing kit on the roof, or a surfboard, snowboarding kit, all that kind of thing. You can throw it up on the roof, and just tie it down and Bob's your uncle. There's no need to buy any roof bars because they come with the D40. NP300 does not come with roof bars. The higher levels come with the roof rails, but no roof bars. So, first impressions, not very good. Really not as practical as the D40. Then I drove it. And that is where the NP300 suddenly springs ahead of the outgoing D40. Driving is so much better. The engine, it's a 2.3 diesel delivering 190 PS, it just feels strong. And towing, I've towed my Airstream, which is 1700 kilos, about 200 miles, and I've towed the Sprite about 1300 miles, and the engine is a great smooth, strong power delivery. It's a little bit better than the 2.5 common rail in my D40. It's consistent, it's good at low speeds, it's good at high speeds. I've got a 6-speed manual gearbox here. You can pop it in 6th gear. I mean, we're going up an incline now at 60 miles an hour in 6th gear. So I love the strength, the power and the smooth torque, the power delivery of the engine. The ride is better. It's got different springs at the back. They've got rid of the leaf springs, and as such it's less wallowy. That also means the handling is better. You feel better driving this than the D40. The cabin is quieter, and that's another great thing. So for long distances, I do feel less tired driving the NP300 than I do driving the D40 for long distances. And then finally, the fuel economy has been much better. I have returned, when I dropped off my Airstream and I drove back solo 200 miles, on that trip I returned 50 miles per gallon. Okay, I had a very, very, very light right foot and I was bimbling along probably under 60 miles an hour the whole way, but I returned 50 miles a gallon with the NP300. With my D40, the best I've ever managed is 40 miles a gallon. Real world driving, you're looking at about 40 miles a gallon long distance with the NP300 and 35 with the D40. So that is great. Towing economy, I've had this set now for the past 1200 miles towing Glynis, and we have returned 30 miles per gallon. That is excellent. I would expect my D40 to return about 25-26 miles a gallon. So we are getting about 15% better fuel economy. So that's excellent. So generally the driving experience is superior, and if you're not too fussed about the practicality side, then this is really good. This is really good, worth the upgrade if you can afford it. So one last thing I want to touch on before I wrap up is the Onboard Technology. As I say, this is a 2017 and the Onboard Technology is pretty rubbish. The sat-nav, it's okay, it works. Yesterday it took us down a dead-end road. The road was closed, concrete barricades, everything, yet the sat-nav didn't know it was closed. It's fussy, but the worst thing is the stereo has a really, really annoying lag. So if you're trying to skip through tracks on the stereo, you press the skip button and the unit takes 2 or 3 seconds per skip to catch up with your commands on the console, which is just so clunky that you would just give up. I just give up in the end. It's really, really clunky, which is not very good. However, I've noticed that the 2019 Navaras now come with the option of Apple CarPlay, or I think they do come with Apple CarPlay. So check the brochure, check with your local dealer if you're after a brand new one. It looks like they've upgraded the stereos to come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, whatever that's called. And I've used Apple CarPlay before and it is fantastic, absolutely brilliant. So that's probably been upgraded now. The stereo sat-nav in the 2017 NP300 is just clunky. Finally, as you'll see in the Here We Tow review of the Navara, a new luxury spec Navara is going to set you back about £30,000. Now, in my opinion, that makes it still probably the best pickup in the UK as far as quality, value for money, luxury, ride quality, all this kind of thing. If I was going to buy a new pickup, it would probably be the Nissan Navara NP300. Everybody wants an Amarok. We all love the VW Amarok, but it is expensive. So to me personally, the Nissan Navara, the NP300, in my opinion, having driven a lot of the others, I still love the Nissan Navara, and if I was upgrading my D40, I would stick to Nissan. The downsides of going from a D40 to an NP300 are the lack of practicality, but I think the benefits you reap in terms of the fuel economy, power delivery, ride comfort outweigh that, and yeah, I would upgrade. I'm probably still going to keep my D40 hopefully for another 5 years because it's only 5-6 years old, and I believe in keeping things as long as I can until they start going terribly wrong. So I am going to keep my D40, but if I needed to change to an MP300, I definitely would with confidence. It makes a terrific tow car. I really do recommend it if you are into this kind of thing. Do take one out for a test drive. Read the reports in the club magazines about tow car awards and see what you think. But yeah, I do like it, and I think it's a great combination of value for money and a great car. So that's this little review. Obviously because I'm driving I can't wheel out Dougal, but I'll throw in a little picture of him here and just say thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, you know what to do, folks. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you don't already, and it just leaves me to say from Dougal and from me, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. It's not the same when I can't do the double act with Dougal, is it?